Hi guys. So it's been a while since you've seen a journal put into my Etsy shop. So you may recognize this cover though. I did make this cover probably 10, 11, 12 months ago and it's just been sitting on my shelf ever since. So I finally sat down to finish it. And here's the flip through. So this is my grungy raggedy journal, and the cover, it's a semi-soft cover journal, so the cover's flexible, but it's got a hard spine just to give it some rigidity and a bit of structure. Usually soft cover journals I'll leave it a soft spine as well, but this one has 4 signatures, so I prefer a hard spine with it. So this is all covered in fabric, and instead of laying it smooth, it's all deliberately or intentionally sewn raggedy so that you can see movement in bits. You can see how it's all, ruffled and folded over. Bits lift up. The top you'll see. This is the top view. Side view. I love the side view, all the bits hanging out. It's got hidden signatures, or hidden spine. So that means just the stitching is on the inside. This stitching down the center here is just to hold this fabric ruffle down. So I don't know if you can see on camera, but so this is not smooth. It's ruffled, folded over. That's the back. You'll see folds everywhere. And the centerpiece is just some corrugated cardboard that I've painted and popped a butterfly on top. And just got some polka dot fabric as the frame. Okay, the closure, it's got sari silk closure. And this sari silk I purchased from Sue Wright's shop. It's Whimsy Rebel Journals on Etsy. Anyone I mention or anything, I'll put links down in the comments box below. Okay, so there's no theme to this journal. It's just raggedy, it's grungy, and I suppose if you did look for the theme, it probably has a slight nature theme, and that's only because I just really love plants and animals and that sort of thing. So, but it's not intentionally nature themed. Okay, in the front, I've just got a little notebook this is fabric that I've made, and I've collaged the inside cover just with book page, and it's just got some coffee dyed paper, some painty paper, and that just sits in here in this pocket. This is fabric down the side, and that's just stamped with some script stamp. This is some coffee dyed paper I did a while ago, and the green is actually watercolor paint. Not from the palettes, just, the little tubes. I had some that were dried out, so I just popped them into, squeezed whatever was left into some water, and then dyed the coffee dyed papers. Little butterfly stamp. This is a fabric ruffle. It's also some vintage fabric. It's just got little little brown, red and white flowers with green leaves. Then I've just sewn a ruffle. lined paper. That's heavy coffee dyed grid paper. Just a little scrap cluster pocket. These are just little scraps of paper, a bit of fabric stitched together. Little journaling card with a fabric pull on top. This is coffee dyed paper with green acrylic paints. This is a little mousey cluster. I found this old book with all little mammals in there, all sorts of little rodents and stuff, and they're so the pictures are so cute, and the pictures are all really close together, so to cut them out you only get a very small square circle. So I've just made little scrap clusters out of them and stitched them down. So coffee dyed envelope, and inside it's just a calendar page. Every year at the end of the year, my husband at work, they get new calendars, so he always brings me the old one home, and I'll chop it up. Some little stamped scrap of paper. I think this might have been from Tony Williams, sent it to me in a Happy Mail or one of my orders. And behind there, it's just a little scrap notepad. Let's see, that's off the top of an envelope, brown packaging paper, book page. Just stitched a bit of fabric on top. I've left all the threads long and loose because the journal's raggedy, but if it annoys you, you can cut that off. Some fabric. This page is out of a botanical diary. It's really tall though, so I've cut it down, but the images in it are really beautiful. So this is the center of the first signature. That's just some scrap fabric. Got all these long bits of scrap fabric, and I've just been sewing them down to pages in my signatures with a bit of fabric on top. Reminds me of a little jellyfish, so I've been making little jellyfish when I've been sewing papers just to use up that fabric, and I think it looks really cute just dangling there. Some more fabric, scraps layered and stitched on. Some piece of vintage lace and fabric sewn on. So as you can see, it sits quite flat even though it's a bit chunky. It's just a little scrap paper notepad. Mushroom stamp. I've gone crazy mushroom stamping everything. This behind, just some old coffee dyed curtain. Oh, this paper here, this is just regular copy paper that I've dyed with some brown acrylic paint in water. I did a whole bunch of brown papers for my mushroom journal ages ago that I also haven't finished. I'm on a mission to use up scraps and also finish unfinished projects this year. Raggedy page, just scrap fabric, lace, bit of that curtain stitched down. This is a honeycomb stencil that the lovely Geo sent me a while back. Geo, you may not have seen it, but I actually use that stencil all the time. It's my favourite. I love it. This and the brick wall one. It's a page out of a dictionary. It's a grungy page. This page actually had some papers stacked drying on a metal tray outside. And it was quite windy that day, so I put a rock on top. So this is the rock mark. And the bottom page, the pages on the bottom that touched the metal tray, for some reason the coffee, when it dried, it gave it kind of a burnt look. So it looks like it's burnt and it's brittle along those burnt bits. Put a stamp there. And the papers that touched the metal tray also left these grey marks, which I really love. Oh, this here was a small tear in the page, so to repair it, you just put a bit of fabric, glue some fabric over it to make a little fabric band-aid. This is a map pocket, and this is the centre of one of the signatures. So the stitching is actually down in the middle of this pocket. It's a gorgeous old page out of an old map, old atlas. And I've just put some lined grungy writing paper in there. These lines have been made with, had an old bird cage that the sides unclipped, so you've just got flat metal bits with lines. And when I dry my papers, I just plop those 4 sides onto 4 pieces of paper on the grass to dry, and it gives those lines. It comes out really pretty. See, these are the grey marks that I was saying when the coffee dye paper touches that metal tray. I'm not sure why, but it leaves those marks, which I like. I intentionally put papers on that tray as well now. This is a page out of an art magazine that I get every month. Really pretty. And because the pictures are so big, sometimes, you know, they're hard to use in a journal, but the larger pictures, sometimes what I do, I just put some coffee dyed paper. Just glue some coffee dyed paper down and stitch around it, and they make good little, you know, writing spaces. You can also put some extra pages in to make it a little notebook. All the paper clips, I've put some scrap fabric just dangling off them. This little fabric covered envelope. I made some packs of these for my Etsy shop. There's still some in there. I love how they turned out. And inside I've just put a bit of old vintage wallpaper. Sorry, no battery. Rookie error. Some more fabric. This is a fabric pocket, but it's not just fabric. It's actually stitched onto book page first, just to give it some rigidity. And a scrap paper collage tag with some fabric. This is food packaging. Oh, this fabric was actually my daughter's old linen set from when she was young. She's almost 30 now, so it's quite old. I kept it for years, but it's so threadbare because she, you know, it was one of those ones where every time you washed it, she'd want straight back on the bed. So, but I decided to rip it up and use it finally. Fabric ruffle. Lined paper. So there's lots of writing space. This is a fabric pocket. This is the same fabric that you'll see on some of the little paper clips and on the notebook at the front. I've just put a collage card in there. This is food packaging as well. I'm very happy to say this journal is made from, well, apart from paint, glue and ink, the materials are 100% recycled, rescued, salvaged materials. even the photocopy paper. Some fabric. So it's a true junk journal. I think people think when they hear true junk journal or real junk journal, they think that it has to be full of things like junk mail and used envelopes, but that's not the case. I do use junk mail, and in fact this tag is junk mail. This is just junk mail painted, backed with coffee dyed paper. This is a real leaf. So if you buy this journal from my Etsy and you're international, if this leaf is a concern for you, if you're worried the journal might get stuck in customs, just leave a note. I actually think this would be okay to go through, but if you have concerns, just leave a note in the comment box at checkout, and I'll remove this tag and I'll replace it. Excuse me. I'll replace it with another kind of botanical type tag that doesn't have a real leaf. But yeah, that's a bit of fabric stitch. So I have done all my embellishments. I have done videos on all of them. Some have been uploaded, some haven't. But if there's anything you see you want to know how to make, just leave a comment below and I'll show you. Most of it's very easy. You can figure it out. This is a little brown paper bag somebody sent me. Can't remember who, but it's really pretty. And I've just put a fabric. These are scrap fabric pieces, just to make a little hinge. So it opens up so you can use the writing space underneath. As you can see, I love heavy coffee dyed papers. Little flower stamp. It's an envelope I've just made. Well, it was actually a proper envelope that I've just put some fabric on, stamped with a dandelion stamp. Kind of ruffled that. And some fabric on the back. And inside is just one of the coffee dyed papers. Oops. Coffee dyed music paper. This is a fabric pocket. This is the same fabric that lines the inside of the journal. It's another one of my scrap box collages. So these are all just itty bitty scraps, like stupid little scraps that I throw into my scrap paper box and just glue down to make collage cards. This is food packaging. I just think all those little scraps glued down together always looks so nice. This is a page out of a bushwalking guide. And that's a pocket as well. So the stitching for this signature is in the center down the bottom. And since it's bushwalking, I thought I'd just put a photo in there. I don't know where this was taken. I came across a box of old photos at Reverse Garbage a while back, and all of them had writing on them except maybe one or two packets. So I think this was from the 80s though. But mountains, bushland, I thought that was good to go in the bushwalking pocket. Fabric ruffle. It's just a little scrap paper cluster with some fabric, and that opens up. Little butterfly pocket. Did a video on making a whole bunch of these. It's just a little collage journal card. And then on the back cover, there's another large pocket here. This is stamped fabric. And I've just made a little notebook out of an use security envelope. So this is the window on the envelope, and underneath is a stamped dandelion book page. And then these are all scraps. Rayleigh, Crafts from the Dungeon. I think this was a part of the note, your thank you note in one of my orders. Some maths page, printer, old printer paper, music page, some drop papers. This was a note that was written in the front of a book that was, someone must have given it as a gift. And then I've just put some fabric down the spine. I've collaged the inside cover. This is old coffee dyed phone book. And then I've just made a little scrap paper notebook. This was out of some wine book. Australian Wine Guide, Wine Producing Regions. I've left that in there. I thought that's interesting to look at. Okay, and then that just slides back in there. And that's it. So that's my Raggedy journal. I hope you like it, and hope to be sharing some more journals soon with you. I know I've been very slack in my journal making, but life has been getting in the way for a long time. But hopefully I'll get some of the journals finished that I've already started on. Okay, so this guide will be in my Etsy shop once this video is published, and thanks for watching.